Welcome everyone to this tonight's episode of Stream Miami. Tonight it's a very special night for me because I I interview one of my greatest friends. I don't think there's any. Well, he's one of the very few in the industry who knows me, and it's a little intimidating. Also, he was late and he had some trouble with taking off his makeup and stuff like that. He had things going on with a pre-taping of some shows, so I am laughing about all of that. I always have a good time with this man. He's talented. He is amazing and just a true kind individual. Ladies and gentlemen, my great friend Christopher Iman. How you doing?
What's going on? You don't start early. Come on now. Don't start
You
early.
have your drink with you? You have
I'm
your
al-
drink?
I'm already drinking, so I can take it. Whatever you
Okay,
get it out early.
we're good. So I'm gonna ask you to do something. Talk to me real quick because I think we have some kind of delay.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Never mind, we're good. So where were you?
I was handling some business with passing the start of the century. That's all I'm at
Uh,
liberty.
okay, that's all you're allowed to say. That's good. You got some surprises for us
And,
coming up, I would say.
and I was last, so
And
that's
you
what
were
happened.
last.
I
So
was.
we had a few things going on, connecting and things like that. So we were a little late, but I want to jump in right to it because I know that we have a great conversation. There's a lot of things to say, and I don't want to waste any time. So let's hit our first segment, back to basics. You ready?
Ready.
Now, before I begin, Christopher, I think you sound a little muffled, and I just want to make sure that your microphone is not being blocked by wherever you are. You have your
Okay.
phone.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Do I need to
I
move
hear
it
you.
over?
I hear you
Uh,
fine, but I think it's just a little muffled. So just make sure that
Um,
there's nothing blocking it or anything like that.
I don't think so.
In the meantime, I just want to make sure that our viewers know that tonight, the Boom Boom Room with Chevelle Brooks takes place at 9 o'clock my time, which is Eastern time, and 8 o'clock Central time for Chevelle. And I don't know who her guest is tonight, but she does amazing interviews, and I'll be tuning in after this show to be able to see Chevelle. Baby, she always puts on a show. It's a kiki every time at the Boom Boom Room. You ready?
You most definitely want to tune in tonight.
Yes.
I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
how she gets her guests, but she gets them.
she does. All right. So Christopher, tell me about you. What's your favorite color? What are the basics about you? What's your favorite food? What do you like to do besides sleep late?
Look, come on now. We're not discussing what we privately know about each other. My favorite color. I It changed throughout the years when it used to be red. But as far as what I like to wear, like black has to be the base color. So
Where are
it's
you
like
from?
always
Do you have
it's
any
always black in
sisters?
something.
Tell me
Can you
everything.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I like black because it looks mean. When you accent it with like a silver or a gold, I like that color, and it's yeah.
Where are
As
you
far
from? What's your sign? When's your birthday? You have any siblings? Where you grew up? All of that.
so you want the whole shindig?
Yeah,
Okay.
baby.
So first
Just
of all, let
briefly,
me let
just skim through
let me
it.
let me say, because a lot of people don't know. As a matter of fact, I don't think anyone in the industry really knows like the complete story of my family, because at different times of my life, I was basically being raised by another particular family member. I was born in Fort Myers, Florida. Grew up in Miami. In between that, I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a few years, but I came back to Fort Myers, and then basically my important years of life, I should say, was in Miami, and then I moved to Atlanta for music. And my birthday is February 25th. I'm a Pisces to the heart. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a dreamer. I'm a kind-hearted, forgiving spirit. All the traits of Pisces. I'm it. So the pros and the cons. Let's see. I was always in musical. Anything had to do with the arts, I was always a part of it. Musical theater, pop choir, concert choir, band. So pretty much all my life I've been on stage or, you know, entertaining some form or fashion. So crossing over into this industry wasn't exactly too hard.
What year were you born?
We've already look. Let me tell you something, guys, because this is not going to be your typical interview. We've already talked about this. We are not getting ready to discuss all that. I was born many years ago, and I look good for my age.
Let me tell you something. Now it's my
Mhm.
time to talk. Everybody that agrees to sit on this seat agrees
Uh,
to answer a series of questions about themselves. I mean, it's just a number.
but because I was a part of like the beginnings, and we've had like behind the scene conversations. We're gonna I'm gonna be like kind of like right below your equal, so I'm gonna be able to get away with a question or two not answered.
All right, let's move on. We'll continue with this later. Your biological father, he was actually absent for most of your entire life. You actually have seen him only about 3 to 4 times in your entire life. Looking back as an adult now, how do you think that this affected you somehow?
Um, Not having like my actual biological father, it kind of scarred me because of situations where I had to basically be brought up by. I felt like I was borrowing somebody else. Like I was also raised. My granddad raised me in my very important years. My godfather legally adopted me, but in the back of my mind, it was like I always was a part of someone else's family. They never made me feel like that, but when you're behind closed doors thinking about it, it's kind of like I would look at my god brothers and sisters, or I look at my aunts and uncles, because like I said, I was raised by my grandparents in my important years. It was kind of like I was always on borrowed time. Now, don't get me wrong, my mom was always there as well. I made a choice to move back with my grandparents. I went to stay with them for a summer, and it's we can get into that story or we cannot. But when I came back to Tulsa, my friends changed because I had predominantly white friends, and I guess in elementary school you really don't see color, but as you get older, you kind of understand. Hey, you're a little different from me. So when I was younger, it was easier to navigate with my white friends. I went away from the summer, and when I came back, I was in the sixth grade, which was middle school. So that changed the whole dynamics.
But
So
did you resent your father for this? Because every time you saw him, did you guys have this conversation?
um, the first time I saw him, I was 12. So it was more so of I was in the house, and my cousin said, "Your dad's outside. He wants to see you." So it was like, "What?" So I was kind of scared. It didn't really process because at the time when he wasn't around, I was with my mom prior to that. So it was really no thoughts. Really. You know, I my mom had a boyfriend at the time, and he took me in as his own. So it was not really, as a young kid, it wasn't that way for me until I came back with my grandparents and then got adopted by my godparents. I felt like I was floating around and everybody was stable. But I had my godfather to teach me this aspect about faith, and he kind of like nurtured me in a way to make me feel like I was worth something. I had my grandfather who would break his back to make sure I had that food was on the table, I was taken care of, but he came from a strict background where you worked. You just, and emotions as far as like nurturing, um, loving emotions was absent, completely absent from there. So it's like I got structure from my grandfather and I got nurture from my godfather. And then I had this pop-up dad. Then my mom was always there, but like I said, I made the choice to, come back to Fort Myers. So it was like I was just all over the place. But as I look back at it, every family played an important part in my life today. I think that if I just belonged to one set of my family, I think I would probably be kind of one dimensional because you name it, I'm there. I can relate to anybody. In high school, I didn't belong to a group, but I was a part of every group.
Right.
I was popular with the nerds, the athletes, the popular folks, you know, what you name it, I could adapt. So I
So
guess, looking back, it's
you did mention that your godfather adopted you legally,
mhm,
and he was a pastor.
mhm,
And this is where you got rooted right into and involved deeply into the church.
right.
Um, Briefly tell me about what did you learn specifically at the church? What did you take from all that experience?
Well, like I said, I was living with my grandparents at the time, so I had a little bit more leeway than my God family, my God brothers and sisters. But I'm a part of Kojic, which is Church of God in Christ. And when I tell you, it's rules on top of rules on top of rules on top of rules. It's like almost like you live, eat, and breathe Christianity. And yeah, so but I think the one thing that, well, it's a few things that I've learned in the process of having a relationship with Jesus Christ. I've learned like throughout the years to have a forgiving spirit. Um, I'm always the type of person who is like right in the middle. I'm like the neutral person because I can see aspects of everything because I know that all of us are human. We're all flawed. So I um I always see the good even in the bad of a situation. Another thing is I always remain humble because when I was a child, it was a lot of things like from my granddad that I felt like just wasn't fair. But as the years progressed and I started reading my Bible and stuff like that, I always had this mentality: somebody's worse off than you, Chris. There's somebody who doesn't eat. There's somebody that's homeless. So I always looked at the better days opposed to the bad days. So
During your time in Tulsa, and just so that our viewers know, so that they get an idea, you're from Fort Myers, and that's where your grandparents lived, and then your
mhm,
mother, she moved to Tulsa, and you went with her. And then on vacation, you came back to Fort Myers,
right,
um, just for a brief period of vacation, and then you moved again. You went back to Tulsa with your mom, and then you decided you didn't want to stay there anymore. You came back to Fort Myers, and
right.
you lived in Fort Myers till you were about 13 or something like that. With right at the
Well, yeah,
beginning,
look,
yeah,
it was older, but yeah, it was
yeah, right at the beginning of high school, probably.
so yeah, then I went I knew that I was leaving Fort Myers. I knew I was getting out that house because I felt like certain situations in the house was destroying my self-esteem. So I knew that I excelled in the arts, but me excelling in the arts and you have a grandfather who has worked all his life since he was like 8, 9. I'm talking about manual labor of a man. Um, that's what he knows as success. You know, it's anything, all the extracurricular stuff is a waste. So yeah, that conflict really kind of destroyed me. So as far as self-esteem wise and what I knew I had a passion for. So I knew I was getting out of there. So I moved to Miami. Um, my choice of even coming back to Fort Myers, like I said, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, all my friends were predominantly white.
But I want to talk about that because you did say that, you mentioned that a couple of times, and
Mhm.
this was the culture that you were raised up in. Everybody
Mhm.
white around you, and you barely knew any black people. And you
Right.
didn't get into your black culture, until you were much older. You were actually said to me that you were almost scared of black people. Tell me why. Why is this?
Well, because I talk proper. Um, my mom's she hates ebonics. She hates. Don't come around her with all that. She's basically like the Felice Rashad, a mother. She's very intimidating. Like if my friends have to be kind of like on it if they're coming over to eat dinner or something, because she likes dinner conversations and she likes to weed people out. So she's very intimidating on that aspect. But
Well, your mom is an English major too.
well, yes, yeah. So that's that. So what it was, I think me coming into coming back into my culture, I spoke proper. I laughed at things that I shouldn't have laughed at because, like, your aunts and grandmas, Big Ma and uh, Aunt Boo Boo and all that. I used to think it was funny. Like, who names their, what's Boo Boo and what's Skeet and all these crazy like nicknames and street names. And I used to like get beat up for stuff like that. But the funny thing about it is that I was kind of scared, but at the same time, I felt like I was deprived. I was like, wait a minute, I had all these white friends, and there were black people at the school, but all of them was on one bus. And I was like, where are they going? Like, I'm over here, I live in the suburbs or whatever, and I'm like, where's this one? And then they're not in my class. They were all in one class. And I'm like, I didn't know anything. I was like, okay, well, I must be a rare breed or something. I don't know what the situation is. But when I went home, I learned so much. Although I was like intimidated and scared sometimes, when I left that summer and went back to Tulsa, it was like all of my friends over the summer realized the difference. Hey, you're black. You know what I'm saying? You're a part of that bus over there. So it was no more spending the nights. I guess, because I don't know what happened in 3 months. I guess maybe middle school, it's like, it's cute when you're 7 and 8, sure, bring everybody, over to the house. But yeah, by the time I left Fort Myers, my family embraced me. The people who picked on me and pushed me around for speaking proper, they embraced me. I learned a lot. When I went back to Tulsa, the ones who I was a part of kind of shunned me away. So I was like, Mom, I think I want to live in Fort Myers.
Now,
That's
let me
that.
ask you this: what role did this culture of you being black have into embracing your gay lifestyle as a man? Like, what role did it play? Your being black, you know,
Oh,
um,
nothing,
nothing. Why is that?
nothing at all. Because my granddad was, he had 13, 14 kids. I was around my uncles, who were his kids, but we were close in age. My the my granddad's youngest kid is only like 3 years older than me, so they were like my brothers. Um, then I have my father, who's a part of Kojic, and go they take everything from the Bible, um, for what it says, like the the surface of it. It's not like it's no digging into like okay,
Everything's
you said
literal.
this, so everything is literal and it's no breaking down. So abomination is abomination. That's it. The end. That's the one. The rest of them, you can get by with, but there's levels of sin. It's crazy. It was a lot. So
Did you come out to your family directly?
no, 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 no. No, no. This was a funny story. My cousin actually came to visit me, and it was about 2, 3 years after I moved to uh, um, Atlanta. And my I had a roommate at the time, Courtney, but I had just won my first pageant, which was Liberty Newcomer. But I had my promo in the living room. So of course, when my family came over, you do the rearranging and making sure everything is, that way. I left the promo on there, and at the bottom it said Christopher Iman. My cousin went and she knew that I choreographed because that was the whole thing that I was saying. Yeah, I choreograph and I, da 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 for these artists and da 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 da. Mind you, just the girls, but these artists, that's why so she googled the name because I think she was trying to see if what accolades, like who are they, any artists I might know because she was kind of heavy into the music, and when she googled the name, all my stuff came up, everything.
So they
So
didn't find out till later in the game. You had
oh yeah,
already.
my family didn't know what the problem was why I wasn't coming back to family reunions. Um, my aunt was like, "I know it's not drugs. I mean, Chris, it can't be that." It's like, I know he's okay. It's like, why does he not want to come home? And a lot of people thought it was because of me and my grandfather's relationship. Like once I left Fort Myers, I really didn't come back. It even when it was before I came out, it was um it was no desire to come home.
Tell
So
me what
they thought it was that for a while, but then they was like, wow, you know.
you learned to play the organ at church with your godfather. Do you play any other instruments?
I played the trumpet in band, and then I became the field commander. Field commander is white, drum major is the black way of saying it, I guess. And just the organ. That was it. My god brother played the drums, and we kind of like were the musicians for our church.
And you sing too.
Yes and no. Right. So
you
no.
went you went to college for music, but in the midst of all of this, when you were going to college for music and all of that, you got involved into this group called Game. Tell me about this.
Okay. So this is when my family members back from Fort Myers was like, "Oh, my cousin gonna be on TV. My nephew's gonna be on TV, and all this other stuff. He's in this group. I was in this group called Game. Our manager, producer, was the guy who did all of the skating rink songs with the vocoder. I forgot what the name was, but anything that had like a vocoder with the we are here to ride all the Planet Rock type songs, rock the Planet Rock, those type of songs. He was known for that. His girlfriend was her name was Trinier, and she had a lot of like songs. They're playing our song, don't you hear? She 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 was at the studio all the time as well. But we were young. He got us from Florida Memorial, and all we were thinking about was, hey, we just want the fame. Like we want to be on TV, and didn't understand the music aspect of it. We didn't hire a music lawyer. We had a contract. The book was like this. We swung to the back and signed it. That was, it was too many words. It was too many pages. Hey, look, he's looking out for us. He scouted us. He has it. It was worse than the TLC story. Pebbles, he ain't got nothing on Pebbles. Pebbles is like the fairy godmother. He scammed us for every little thing that we had. He gave us enough to, you know, yeah, it was a mess. And I ended up being the first one leaving, and they actually came out with the album with my keyboard skills on there and my background vocals. They had to take all the songs that I led, and the new guy did it. But yeah, it was then that I thought that, you know what, I think I want to be behind the scenes. I want to be a writer at the time. Diane Warren was real big, and I actually got a chance to meet her. So she was writing all the like hits, like love ballads and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? She's making all the money, and the artist is getting stressed out and making pennies. I want to be behind the scenes. So yeah, that was that.
You told me that you weren't always aware that you were gay. You didn't know, or subconsciously, you knew and you didn't act
Right,
upon it, whatever the case might be, but you were not aware. And
right.
then when was that moment that you were like, oh, well, oh, that's what it is?
Yeah, because when you're growing up, like you have situations, but like folks that I had situations, they're married and I know they are straight as a doorknob. So, growing up 12, 13,
What do you
14.
mean? What kind of situations with a married straight man? No, I
No,
don't know.
no, no, no,
What?
no, no. They grew up. Like, when you're growing up and you dabble and then you like, oh, okay, yeah, this is not me
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever. So yeah, that's what, yeah, little innocent stuff, not nothing like, yeah, crazy. But yeah, I always in the back of my mind, I guess I had an attraction, but I would always blow it off as when I would see someone who was attractive looking as far as like body wise or something like that, I would always blow it off and say, I want to get my body like that. And when I said it to myself, I believe that's what it was. Like like, ooh, if I can get, my body like that and this and that, that's what it was. But looking back, it was like I was checking them out. I think I was checking them out. Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, yeah, you were.
And it wasn't until college that I realized that, oh, okay. But even still, I still thought that I would always have a girlfriend and it would be one of those things that you just did and not talked about.
But
I
what
never
was the
thought that
moment?
I would be in the lifestyle ever.
What was that moment that you were like, oh, okay?
Moving to Atlanta, because everything I did, I snuck around in Miami. I wasn't getting ready to. You weren't gonna catch me. I mean, I did go to the gay club because that's how I actually started. That's how Christopher Iman kind of came about in Miami. But it was the scariest thing to kind of like run to the car because I was still in college. So there used to be people that would sit in the parking lot and and do the exposing. Like, guess who I saw come out of you know, and it'd be all over campus. So yeah, you had to be careful.
Let's get to some juicy stuff since you don't want to tell me that story.
What story?
The story, that moment when you were like, oh, I'm gay. I've asked you
I mean,
twice.
I
I
mean,
said, what was that moment?
I can tell you when I knew I had an attraction to a guy, but it's like two stories that one it's levels to this. One where you have an attraction to a guy, but at that time I knew I would never be in a relationship with a dude talking about I love you and stuff. So it was another situation when I moved to Atlanta that let me know that, oh, this is possible to actually be in a relationship with the same sex. I always thought that it was going to be you do it and you don't talk about it.
How old were you?
When I realized what,
That moment in Atlanta.
mm, it was a few years ago. Stop doing the timeline. It was a while ago. What?
Well, I want to give a shout out to my auntie Desiree the morning. She has her shows on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time and 10 p.m. Eastern, Saturdays at 5 and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You got to check her out. I love this lady. She's everything to me. On Tuesday nights. On Instagram, you got Stasha Sanchez. I have her tomorrow here as a guest. She's going to be telling her story and everything that she embodies and how she came up to be Stasha Sanchez. So make sure you check her out every Tuesday on Instagram and then also tomorrow. Um, how did you become an Iman?
Okay, that happened while I was still in Miami. Um, the first pageant I went to, and it was by default. Like the person that took me to the pageant didn't even know anything about pageants either. It was just like this thing that everybody kept talking about, and they said it's some kind of event going on downtown Miami. Um, so let's check it out. And it happened to be Miss National, and that was the year that Tamisha won. So yeah, let's talk later, okay? All right, I see you. I see you.
I'm just
I see you
I'm
good.
asking I'm
So
asking the
anyway,
questions everybody want to
So
know.
Tamisha won, and I was mesmerized with the artistry of it all, the creativity of it all. Tamisha came out. She was a horse. Um, Somebody did something where their head was on mantles, and I think it was Annie Lennox was a song. Um, what's her name? Electra had the I Love Lucy, but I swear to God, I thought I was looking at it in black and white. It was just like all kinds of stuff. It was like crazy. I was like, wow, like what is this? I already thought they were already like celebrities just coming together. I didn't realize it was a competition until like towards the end when they were like doing all the runner-ups and all that stuff. I said, is this like a pageant? I was like, because the regular pageants, their talents are like, you play a flute and there's some more singing. I'm like, this is some crazy stuff. Like this should be televised. And so yeah, I saw Tamisha Iman and was like, wow, she's good. Her CD or her tape, I'm sure it was a cassette tape, had I guess ended up. I want to say it probably twisted because you could tell when you hear the muff, you could still hear the back of it. So like it probably like got twisted up some kind of way. But like right when she was getting ready to do her backflip, the music came back up and like the whole crowd went wild. I was like, oh, this chick right here, she's bad because at any point for me at that particular time, if as big as the competition looked, I would have been like, oh no, y'all got to stop this. I didn't spend too much money, came all the way down here. I'm not getting ready to perform the rest of this song off no muffle just because the folks clapping and with me. That ain't enough to help me win. But she went on and that music popped right back on. I was like, oh, that's it. She has to be the winner.
So how did you
And,
become Animan?
and so what happened after that, I was in college. So there was this lesbian friend of ours at college who told me about a talent show. And that's how I went, got into the clubs and all that other stuff. It was she said that they're giving away $50, but the finals is $500. But it's at a gay club. And I was like, shoot, I don't care. Like, I'm get a couple of folks and we gonna go down there and do it up. I won that night and I won the finals. At the finals, she happened to be there and she met me and some of the folks. Um, and she came up to me and she said, "You're gonna be my child." I'm like, "What?" What does that mean? Say, "Yeah, you and Iman." I'm like, What does that mean?" And she's like, "Well, it's kind of like a sorority for fraternity type thing, but like it's in the lifestyle." And I was like saying to myself, "Oh no, I ain't in no lifestyle. Now this ain't get ready to go like that." But I was like, okay, I was kind of intrigued because I was intrigued by the other contestants too, because they were like bringing in horses and all this other stuff. I'm like, man, like y'all go all the way out for some crazy, for a little bit of change. But anyway, come to find out, she was getting Tamisha was getting ready to give up the pageant, and she was like, "I want some of y'all to dance for my opening." I was like, "Dance for your opening?" She said, "Yeah, I'm giving up Miss Nationals." I was like, "Miss?" And when she told me her name was Tamisha Iman, I instantly remember. I said, "Oh snap! You are the chick that I saw last year, and I was going ham for you. Like that was my first pageant. And I was like, just going like, oh, you were so good and da da da." She was like, I was like, oh yeah, you definitely go. You. you are definitely a female impersonator because you are definitely a dude talking to me in front of me, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're the definition of a female impersonator. Because when you get in, you can stand next to him, and when you get out, oh, yeah.
You know, Tamisha is a legend, and she don't. Everybody that knows, um, Tamisha, she don't come out easily out of hiding for anything unless she has a purpose. But tonight was a purpose, baby. So she's got a message from you. So let's hear about what she has to say.
Uh,
It is I, Mother Tamisha Iman. My son, Christopher Iman. What can I say about him? First, he is one of my oldest living sons. He has been in Iman for over 2 decades. To me, he was the male version of myself. His accomplishments are well deserved, but it doesn't surprise me. From the first time I saw him, I could tell he was going to be a force to be reckoned with. Out of all of my kids, and I love them all, we have one of the strongest bonds. We don't have to talk for months at a time, but the mutual respect we have for each other is undeniable. Christopher is the beacon of light of the Iman dynasty. He embodies the Iman legacy. He proudly wears it as a layer of skin. We've had members come and go within our family. That has never been an option for him. I speak on the root of our family bond because our accomplishment comes and goes. They're merely adjectives of what and who we are. Without them, we are still the same loving, kind, and unique individuals. Christopher, though, has a fighting spirit. He tries not to leave any stones unturned. To say that I am proud of him would be an understatement. To say that I am blessed to have him in my life would be a true testament of God's grace. Everyone should have that one person in their life that accepts them unconditionally. He is that for me, and I am that for him. The one thing that I will say is, I am truly glad he is my son. My son, that's my son, not your son, but my son. My oldest.
Tamisha Iman, baby. That's your mother.
uh, I
She's one of
love
a
my
kind.
mommy. Oh wow, that's so
That is one lady that I want to just
wow.
have here, sit her here, and just go at it because I know that there's a
That'll
lot
be
to talk about there.
one of the best interviews you'll have. She will probably evoke every emotion before it's over with. You'll probably go through any
So
emotion that's possible for you to have. You'll probably experience it before the hour is up.
hopefully after today, she'll sit right here with me and we'll get a date for Tamisha and Christopher
I,
Higgins too, because I know Christopher is he's watching right now. I think so. But if you are Christopher, I sent you a friend request. I don't know how many weeks ago, and you still haven't accepted me, baby. You gotta do so. We gotta get you on DC.
I didn't know you knew him. That's funny. Okay.
Pageantry became your biggest passion, baby. We gotta hit it because we got 10 minutes left, and you wanted a 2 hour interview, and then I'm gonna miss Chevelle's show. So we gotta hit it. We gotta keep talking.
Uh,
Pageantry is your biggest passion. So let's talk about pageantry.
mhm.
How did you get into pageantry?
A dare. I saw a tape and said, "Oh my God, the guys are boring." I was like, "That's all you have to do to win," because I was intimidated by the names. So it was like you would hear these names of Mr. Icon of something, something, something. And I thought like, hey, I went to Miss Nationals. That's my first pageant. So like Icon and World and anything that had all these big, names attached to it, it must be like something serious. And I saw a tape and I was like, that's it. That's all they had to do. And someone said, you do it. I bet you can't do it. It's a lot more than just, whatever, whatever. And I knew I had the talent. But yeah, I started in a dare. Newcomers wasn't the newcomer division wasn't too hard, but it wasn't until I ran for Universe it let me know it's so many more elements than just being able to get on stage. And yeah,
You know what? I want to ask you a question. I'm sorry I'm doing this right now, but there's something wrong with my computer, and if I don't plug it in right now, we will be out of transmission. And I just did that. So okay, so Chevelle's having her 10 p.m. show later tonight. Perfect. So we can sit down and talk. When you started, I know that there's a lot of people right now in the industry that are male leads that are, you know, legends in this industry, including yourself, but you all started around the same time. So back then, who did you consider a threat in competition?
Back when I first started,
Yes.
it's funny because I think I was the only one that stayed in the game. Like everybody had their seasons and dipped. It was out
Really?
of yeah. Like I don't think yeah. I mean, the longest that I can think of is Simba, and I've never I've never beat him. I always got first runner up to him. First runner up at Continental, first runner up at Sweetheart, first runner up to the Continental prelim. Uh, I want to say his first run up to something else, but yeah, like he's the only one. But like throughout my whole like decades worth of competition, um, people had their moments that were my competition, but they, didn't make
It's
it.
funny. It's funny you say that because I asked him the same thing, and then he considered you a threat. So, but not because I said it, because he said it. So let's hear what he had to say about you.
There is a lot that I can say about Christopher Johnson or Christopher Iman, but I was only given a minute. I think his works speak for him. He's a well-renowned title holder. He is dedicated to his titles. We hold two titles together, Continental and US of A. Sorry, three, Continental, US of A, and Sweetheart. And I will tell you that every single time that I competed against Chris, I was shivering in my boots. He is one of the best competitors that I've ever run into. I look forward to US of A time because that is usually my roommate in Texas. So, yeah, that's when I really got to know Chris and to know Christopher Johnson, not Christopher Iman, and they are two different people. Um, he doesn't let a lot of people know Christopher Johnson, but when I tell you, when you get to know who that person is, you understand and appreciate Christopher Iman even more. I love you, bro. You will always be one of my favorite, and I will still be the top of your list of your fans list. So um, I'm glad you're doing this interview on him, Raul, because he's well deserved, and people need to hear his story. Love you.
Well, let me beat you the next time, bro. Let me get one before it's all over with, before we hang our boots up.
This is what we're talking about. That's Christopher Iman. Listen, why do you
Bump on that
say,
pussy stuff. No, I love you too, bro.
now? Why do you
Oh
say? Why
wait,
would you say what?
Chantel DeMarco. I don't know if she's on here, but I just want to say,
That's it. That's her
you,
drink right
you
there.
see this big old bottle right here? You see where it is? She got me on this, and that's what I'm sipping on.
That's her drink right there.
That's the drink. Yes, it
Listen.
is.
So
Yeah.
now, when you're still in the game, you're still competing, you're still playing. What would you say to those competitors in the pageants now who consider you a threat?
No, I don't think anybody considers me a threat. No one's scared of me.
Listen,
No,
some
I'm
people
I'm
consider
serious.
you a threat.
Let me tell you something. I am the king of first runner ups, and every time I lose, it is by and this not in the term not not in the term of a negative term, but it's always by a newcomer.
Listen, why are you sitting here? You're not answering my questions.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, so okay, let's just say if somebody found me a threat, what
Okay,
was the question? Okay.
what would you say to that person that considers you a threat?
That's a crazy question. Are you asking me what
How is that a crazy
you're asking me what would I say to them if I was in the competition at the moment and
No,
they
everybody, like for example, let's
okay.
say, I want to go compete somewhere and I know that you're competing and I say, well, I'm having second thoughts about competition because I know you're entering. So I consider you a threat. I say, well, I don't know. I'm kind of scared that he's competing. I might compete too. So what would you say to me? That's the damn question.
Oh, okay. I would tell you, hey, don't look at me as a threat. You come and you do the best that you can do. Because at one point I was intimidated by somebody when I hit the scene as well. And look where I am.
Is that hard?
I mean, I'm just saying, like I thought you were saying like in the back of the dressing room, what I'm supposed to say? I'm gonna say good. Be nervous. Skip up in Q&A.
You're considered a legend in this industry, especially when it comes to male leads. You're a 7-time national title holder. You have competed alongside some of the great names in the nation, some of them who are still in the game, some of them who are not. How did this type of competition, you competing against the best, contribute to your growth as an entertainer?
Well, I mean, the motto, I know it sounds cliche, but it is really the truth. In order to be the best, you have to compete against the best. So that's what contributed. The fact that I was competing against folks who were on their A game, and I still was learning. So I did my homework. I knew what they excelled in, what categories they excelled in. I tried to excel in those categories, and stay true, stay in my lane, and make sure that I kept my category in line. And from that, through experience and stuff like that, yeah, it's like those people kind of paved the way and gave me motivation to be the best that I could be.
Who's
So
Archie Bonet to you?
my everything. at, at some point, he's my mentor. At some point, he's my my shoulder to cry on, my friend, my petty truth telling person to get me on my feet, or get me off my high horse. He's also the person that gives me my accolades when I least expect. So he's my everything. I have to say, yeah, he is.
Let's see what Archie has to say about you.
Archie, you got Archie.
Wow, Christopher. Wow. In life, many people have come and many people have gone. Chris, I've seen you at your best, and I've also seen you at your worst. I've seen you come in first, and I've seen you come in last. I've seen your lows, and I've also seen your high highs. But through it all, of the 20 plus years of us knowing each other, a bond was created that we share only a few people may know or even understand. When I call you my brother, I mean that, and it comes from the heart. Your skills and talents are amazing and limitless. You've created some wonderful talents, not only just for me, but for so many other individuals who are also grateful. You always push and strive for greatness in anything that you do. You are a good, good brother. And also, I would like to say, don't you even think for a second, not even a millisecond, that the work that you do in the community goes unnoticed. We all are appreciative for everything that you do for us and everything that you do with us. Chris, you are a diamond in the rough. You're what I call a true ruler, and I wish you nothing but the best in any future endeavors that you have. Of course, you have my number. Just give me a call. Good luck. Love you, brother. Talk to you later.
The legendary Archie Bonet. What are you doing?
My battery was going dead, so I have to regroup. But yeah, that was sweet.
That's another person who I wanna be able to have on this seat. Archie. I know he's watching, probably. I don't know if he's watching or not, but if he is, I want to make sure that he knows that I just want to get him on this interview, baby. That's a legend.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll do it.
Listen,
Yes.
you're a former Mr. Duval, Mr.
Yeah.
Westland, Mr. Gay US of A, Sweetheart, Entertainer of the Year,
No,
Mr. Continental.
no.
What?
I ain't gonna give you titles I ain't won. I didn't win EOY.
You
First
didn't?
first runner up every time.
First runner up, BOY, Continental, National Showman, Black Universe. Which one of those national titles.
You
What?
better not. You better not go where I think you're going.
But do you see how this man doing this? He agreed to do this interview, and then he's sitting here telling me what question to ask. You want to
Okay?
pick and choose
Go
what
ahead.
question you're
Okay.
gonna answer?
Ask a question. Let me. I want to see where you're
Well,
going.
you see, you haven't even let me finish. I'm
Go
about to end this interview early.
No, no.
This is supposed to stay on YouTube as a homage to you. Look what you're doing.
Let me get this share. All right, hold on.
Look at this. In the years that this show's been streaming, I've never seen anything like it.
Wait.
I'm telling you, it's a whole entire mess, baby. Let me go back to my commercials because he's acting a fool. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that you know about
I'm
this
ready.
right here. Tasha Long on Thursday. She's Thursday on Facebook at 9 p.m. and she's on Instagram on Fridays at 9 p.m. She has a special Let's Celebrate show with Tasha Long for 4th of July. She's gonna be doing a lot of different artists, including Whitney Houston, which is gonna be a treat. And I also want to tell you about Wigs by Norel. That's my niece right there. She's doing hair. She does amazing work. She does a lot of custom orders. You can check out her work on Instagram, Touch by Norel, or wigsbynorel.com, her website. So make sure you hit her up, share her posts and her things. You know, it's good to support everybody that we know, and even people that we don't know. Just make sure that you support these entertainers because it seems to be getting longer. And the situation is rough in the opening of bars and nightclubs and things like that. Let's see if this man's ready. You ready now? And now you have to sign back in because I don't hear you.
You don't
Try
hear
again.
me. You got my mic.
Try
You
again.
have my mic muted. There you go. Ha! You doing all that reading.
You see what kind of mess this is? I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all.
Stop interviewing your friends. That's the problem.
This is I thought you all could behave and support me, but no, this is what's happening.
You gotta take back a little so that we don't have to get into these rebuttals.
You better slow down that there's a Rono, baby, until you're done. Because look, listen, which one of these national titles has been the most challenging reign and why?
Oh my gosh, definitely Black Universe. I'm gonna tell you. No, let me tell you, anybody that has won Black Universe, this is not just a me thing. Anybody will tell you, if you get through Black Universe, everything else is a breeze. The whole board expects greatness on every aspect from you and nothing less, period. Whereas, being nice and a good entertainer and, cordial and stuff like that can get you by in a lot of systems, as long as which, I take pride in, like, being very personable with folks because that's what keeps me booked. And, a lot of people, I can get a lot of people to, follow behind my footsteps and buy prelims and things like that. Being a good person, that is a great quality, but I don't even think they don't have the mentality of, as long as you are good here and here, you can be all right here. No, they want you to be great. They want you to look great. They want you to act great. They want you to entertain great. And I'm not talking about, they're not letting you slide with no C's at all. And if it's 10 categories and it still averages out to a low A, or no, they're going to focus on that number, whatever number it is that you're weak on. And when I tell you that was the hardest, that reign was the hardest reign. I actually almost got dethroned from Black Universe, and then ended up being like one of the most respected formers. It's weird. I was still a newcomer. I can honestly say that everything that happened for me was a divine order. It was supposed to happen that way. Everything that's happened to me in life was supposed to happen for me to be where I am now. But that reign, I could honestly say it was just a lot of stuff that I still didn't know. I think that the people wanted it so bad for me as much as I wanted it, but I didn't have a plan after I won. So it's kind of like they had to.
Out of all those pageants, which one did you want the most? Out of all of them, all those titles.
That you can't.
No,
That's not
I'm gonna tell you why. Wait. No. Yes, there
because
is. Listen to me.
when I didn't have a national
No, no,
title,
no.
I didn't see anything but MBU. And then
Well,
when
that's what I'm
Continental
saying.
came,
But but you can look back and say, because you won all these titles, so you can look back and place yourself in the different um times of your life and say, well, I really just wanted this one. I'll tell you this, I've won different pageants, and there's only one really right now that I just won, and I've always wanted. And even though I've won, and I'm the current Mr. Florida, and I tell you this, there's this one pageant, that I just want right now. Period. There's nothing else. Maybe after I win this, what I want to win, it'll be something else. And I don't know if looking back, it'll still be that one that I wanted the most. So it's just a question. It's not diminishing one system or the other. But to you
it's not the
personally,
ministry, but you just made a valid point that I was trying to prove.
no, no, no,
Because
no.
right now
Because of preparation.
there's a
Because of
particular package
preparation,
right
or
now.
no.
I, I
Out
can
of
I can tell I can tell you this. The one that I there was only two systems that I broke down with what Oprah would call the ugly cry, to where like I didn't know what was what. And next thing I know, the next morning I woke up and realized that I won the pageant. That was Black Universe and Continental.
So there you go.
But there are systems that I treasure. Like after I won, it was like, oh wow, this was the best decision, and I'm so glad that I won this. I'm so glad I'm a former. I look forward to coming back every year. Duval is definitely one of them. So it's like it's really it's hard to say.
No, I'm not talking about a favorite. And I would never ask anybody that. But at the
Mhm.
same time, when it is the truth. Every single pageant that you do, at least me, because I know you, and I myself think that way. You make a decision to do it not to collect a title.
Mhm.
You do it because there's something that you want out of it.
Right.
You have some kind of passion for something specific. You know. Um,
So on that aspect, I would say Black Universe,
okay.
and the reason why I say that it was the other systems that I won outside of Duval um, and Sweetheart, they they didn't exist till later. So like I was already Black Universe before Continental came about, and US of A, well, the 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 new Mr. US of A came about. So none of that was in my my journey of goals of what titles that I wanted, because Black Universe was like it at that time. So Black Universe.
How? Which one was the toughest for you to win?
Which one was the toughest? See, I don't want to go by years because sometimes I just didn't come correct. Black Universe, because
Okay.
Continental, the year that I went to Continental, my whole strategy was win from the gate, prelim night, final night. I had two talents. Uh when I did the talent at the Baton that night, everybody was like, "Oh, you got this pageant under the bag with that talent," not knowing that I had another one. Everybody did not want me to. I had it to where I had two final night packages, so it was like, "There's no y'all not getting ready to do this year. Ain't no runner ups, no more." Black Universe, Antoine Steele. I want to say Antoine Steele I know it was Neandre. I think the top three was Neandre and Antoine Steele. But all of us, it could have went either way.
Antoine. Antoine's one of my best friends. He's watching right now, and
Hey, what's up, bro?
he's over here chiming in. So, as a choreographer, as an actor, as a musician, as a singer, as a dancer, what do you think is the most important factor that an artist should know about himself or herself?
What was the last part?
What's the factor? What's that most important factor that an artist should know about himself?
That originality stands out and carbon copies only last a season.
Oh, damn.
Or two.
Oh, damn. Let's see some of your moments. I have captured a little bit of your moments, and they're old too. So I want to see some of that old Christopher Iman flavor.
CHRISTOPHERIMAN. It's hard to beat these dancers because every day I'm shuffling.
Come on.
Look at you
Well,
shaking a little booty.
You be doing your thing with these little tributes and stuff.
Listen, yeah, but you acting a fool over here trying to mess up my interview and not answering my damn question. Listen to me. Of the many talents that you have produced for yourself, for all the pageants and everything that you've done, which one has been your favorite?
Shadow dancing, and you don't have it. It was at EOY when I got first one up back in the day.
I don't want to put that one. I found it though.
You found it, but it was on VHS though, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not clear.
It's not clear. Yeah, it's not clear, but it was good. It was good. You know, during this
the only reason with that was because prior to that, you know, you have to study the system and know what is going to make them shake the tables. And that was the first time that I did my little, I call it the crossover talent. So the BGs and all of that, I knew that everybody could, you know, kind of relate to it, but I still kind of kept my Christopher Iman element in there. But at the same time, it was, yeah. Yeah, there go my Cash App, y'all. Did y'all see that float up? If you ever like any one of those talents, hit that Cash App.
That's the Disaroma talking, y'all. I knew it. I knew it.
Hit that right there. If you ever clapped your hands for a Christopher Iman talent,
I knew it.
Your boy $2.
Antoine, you see this? You see this, Antoine?
I ain't letting nothing slide.
Let me tell you something. One of the best.
Where's mine? Ain't nobody. So nobody's gonna hit the Cash App.
Nicole answered. That's the problem. That Nicole answered every damn question I asked, and she was truthful. And you know, she told me what year she was born.
That's not.
She told me all of that.
That's not the reason why they're not Cash Apping me. What? How many viewers are on here? I can't see.
It's about 48, 50 viewers.
See, I'm not even pulling into 200. Nicole had 200.
Listen, one of my favorite talents was when you won Mr. National Showman. It was just, that's one of the things that that talent was perfect. It was perfect. It had mistakes, but it was so well delivered that I have to say that it was a moment. It was a moment for everybody. You know, you went into this COVID-19 and it hit hard for everybody. And it's been a time for people to think, to reflect, to make changes, to think about what they're going to do next, etc. So during this time of isolation, besides running out of toilet paper? What did you discover about yourself?
I discovered a number of things. Life is so short. The pandemic hit us so abruptly, and it changed the dynamic of not just like a city, a state, but like a nation. It really, if it doesn't make you think that nothing is promised, then I don't know what you're thinking, what you could be thinking about. I literally, I had to like put things in order. What was important, what was truly important to me. The negative energy. I didn't realize how much energy it took out of me until I was able to isolate myself and be by myself. So, and being by myself, kind of like, I reevaluated some things, but I was at such peace with just working on me, not trying to do anything for validation, not trying to worry about forgiving anybody or explain away, their wrongdoings, not trying to explain myself, but just like being in a moment of peace. And it made me realize that that's what I want, like, for the rest of my life. If it's anything that I can be in control over, I want to stay away from anything that jeopardizes that.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. It's very insightful. I want to ask before we go on to our last segment, and this is where people were gonna ask you questions about everything that they want to know. I want to know. I want you to tell me something that we would be surprised to know about you.
That you'll be surprised about me. My age.
But you're not telling it.
You'll be surprised. But I mean, you wouldn't be surprised because by the time you try to do the math of like, okay, well, he came out and started doing this and this, he's got to be at least. So I mean, but technically speaking, if you just saw me for the first, you'll be surprised, like, my age. But like anything else, I don't think any. Like you kind of pretty much kind of pointed out, like, different things that I've done. So I mean, that's not surprising. Anybody who's followed my career, I mean, yeah, and I'm definitely flawed. So I mean, even if I told you something that, on a flawed situation, it wouldn't be a surprise. It would just be a confession, but nothing like surprising, I don't think. But yeah, probably my age. That's about it.
But you're not telling it. I'm telling
Right.
you, this is.
You're absolutely right.
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
I don't even want to read the comments if anybody's
Let's move on. Let's move on. So we got the first question. Which celebrity would you most like to choreograph a production for?
Celebrity?
Yeah.
So that's a good question. When I choreograph for folks in the pageant world, I very seldomly get someone who is a super duper talented dancer to where everything is easy. I like to choreograph for the underdog and make it to where, like, oh wow, like I've never seen her do this, and so I like to choreograph for the underdogs. I think there's people that I definitely would love to meet, like Janet Jackson, all of them. But to choreograph for, I actually want to like choreograph for one of the new artists, and I don't know what their names are, but it's the two girls that that are under Beyonce's label. They have this little cute little song. I think it's so cute, but I want to kind of like pull out some more out of
Child,
them.
nobody know about them. Let's move on.
Yes, yes, they do.
If
I bet they
no,
somebody's gonna
I
put.
don't. I don't. If you could write a letter to your 12-year-old self, what would you say?
Oh wow, he's been watching the whole interview. Who is that? He knew exactly 12. He knew exactly what was going on at 12. Oh, get out of your head. It's all gonna make sense in about another decade or two.
Being that you love to eat, what is your favorite dish?
Absolutely chicken and shrimp Alfredo. Period. And a side salad with extra ranch.
Spill the tea. Who was your first male lead crush?
I know. See, the thing is that you have the pictures up on here. I know who the person who asked. I know who their first male lead crush was.
You see, that you're just being messy.
No.
You're just being messy.
My first male lead crush. Who was my first male lead crush? Okay, so at the time I didn't know he was a male lead, but he used to come to Miami. Monty.
Oh.
But his illusion was on point, baby.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He was walking around like he was supposed to be here, and when I came to Atlanta, I was like, wait a minute, you bamboozled me.
Uh-huh.
No, that's my Watching was my first male lead crush.
Who's your favorite drag performer to work with?
It's too many. Because right now, I would say Kimber Devine. She's a sweetheart, and she's like my family or whatnot. But there's too many. Like every Akasha, it's too many. I couldn't even for different reasons. Akasha comes to my house and cooks for me and everything. When she comes for her rehearsals, when she comes in town, I'm like, you don't get a hotel, you stay here. Kimber the same way. So it's too many to name.
What's next for you?
Getting past this coronavirus pandemic and paying off some credit card bills because that's what I'm gonna end up living by. I'm 1 month away from just swiping to pay everything. Somebody give me a job.
You wanna I wanna show some promos of you real quick from Sweetheart. This is back in 2015. Here you have in gold, baby. US of A 2013. You are one condecorated entertainer. You are my friend. And I appreciate you. You know more about me than anybody else in this industry, I would believe. And that's scary sometimes. And there's a comment here. I'm just gonna share this comment. Wait, you're gonna get your chance. But there's one comment here, and I'm gonna close with this, and then I'm gonna close with your question. But this section, I'm gonna close it with this comment right here. Chris is 49. So here we go. So now it's clear.
I can tell you that's absolutely wrong, but I mean,
well, there you go. Here,
it's in.
Tamisha won nationally '96, so we can start counting, baby. We can can start counting.
I was in college, and you can do the math.
All right, so you have a chance to ask me one question. One question. What is it?
Oh, let me think of one that I would want to ask while everybody is watching.
Be easy. Be easy. In the meantime, while you think, I want to make sure we share Sunny Delight's hair feet sale and on Saturdays at 1 p.m. She's just amazing. I love this lady, and she does fabulous work. If you don't need a wig like I do, just refer somebody, but she does absolutely stunning work. And I watch it just because she's just so cute the way she does her whole entire thing. I just enjoy watching her when she's doing her thing. And I want to make sure that also you all know about Sundays at 9:30 p.m. with Trinity Kardashian Bonet. She's got an amazing uh, lineup of entertainers, and she puts on a wonderful show. If you haven't seen this, you must, baby. It's extremely entertaining. So when is your next Stars of the Century show?
It is Monday coming up at 9:30. You guys, please tune in. It's going to be a great show, and yeah, tune in.
Perfect. One question. Go ahead.
It's a two-part question. So can I you know you're my friend, so I want to make sure that it's okay for me to ask this. It's going to be a question from your past, and then it ties into now. But it's an easy question. It's nothing too deep.
I can't go into this whole entire explanation here.
Okay, well, here's a question.
Okay.
In your persona back in the day, who did you look up to? And in your persona of today, who do you look up to? Or what? Okay, let me rephrase that. In your persona of a female impersonator, who inspired you as a female impersonator? And as your persona as a male lead, who inspires you today as a male?
Inspires me in what sense? Because different people inspire me to do different things.
What was your greatest inspiration to be great in both elements in the industry as far as competing wise?
Well, my drag mama was Gloria Klein, and that's who I looked up to. You know, I looked up to certain aspects of her that were great, and the other ones that were not so great I dismissed. So, but that's the person that I looked up to the most, even though I appreciated a lot of people along the way that apported some kind of, some kind of growth into my development as an entertainer. So there's a lot of people to name, because I'm a kind of person that I'm a people's person, and whoever is next to me is because I choose them to be. And when that happens, I allow that feedback, and I take it very well. I listen a lot, and I take it into consideration. I apply it to whatever works, and it works for me. So I don't have just that one person. Now, as a male lead, there's also a lot of people that have guided me and have inspired me to do great things.
You get mad at me when it's not.
I get mad at you, but but there's two people. Antoine Steele, it's one person that guides me. He just centers me, tells me where to go, what I feel like I could do, what's best for me, because he knows my life and he knows what I'm about. Alexis Gabriel Sherrington, even though she's a female impersonator, she's my backbone. And on stage, I hold about 4 entertainers up to a very high standard, and those are Khalil Valentino, Desi Andrews, Neandre Bonet, and yourself. Those are my people. Does that answer your question?
All right.
All right, you're good.
Black Lives Matter. Don't spell Black Lives. But look, listen. I want to tell you. When you said Gloria Klein, what was so funny about that? I think she competed that year.
She did.
That I was talking about, and she did the talent. It wasn't Betty White, but it was the other black lady who always, during her music, she always has a story. Like, I know you. What was so funny about her, and I'll never forget this. It's so funny that you say that, because this is the only time that I actually had a conversation with her. So I went up to her. I was like, "You were on it. It looked like you were saying those words and whatever." She didn't understand nothing I was saying. She knew that whole talent in English, had it down packed, the antics and everything. And she was like looking at me, "Baby, I don't know what you're saying, Poppy."
There's this. She knew what she was saying. It was pretty late at night, and something else was going on up there.
But it was so funny to me because she was speaking to everybody, not in English. So I was like, that is so weird. Like, you actually embodied this whole, not even just English, but like ratchet my culture, like you had the
I
sass and
know.
everything,
Yeah.
you know.
That was
Okay.
a great talent. It was a good monologue. She was good. So well, we have some comments here. Please do an interview with Gloria. I'm on the works on that. You know, it's sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. It's the same thing with Gabby. So it's on the works. But tomorrow I want to make sure that you know that I'm having Stasha Sanchez, and next week Stasha Sanchez is gonna be great. The queen, she's gonna tell it like it is, and there's a lot there to hear about. And next week on Tuesday, I have Maya Douglas. Then I have Tatiana Braxton on Wednesday, and on Thursday, Tiffany T. Hunter. So it's gonna be an amazing week next week. I want to thank you for joining me tonight, Christopher. I hope you had fun. You put me
Yeah.
through it, but you know it was a good
You
time.
didn't give me any no tearjerkers. I thought you was gonna find something that was gonna make me like, you know. I mean, to me, she came close, but hey,
Boy,
it
I
was
didn't tear you up. I didn't tear you up because first of all, you know you we want to air out all of this on live. You were late. You were
no.
live
I mean,
first, and you have
that's
problems with your
that's how you
phone
get
with
to
your light.
you're supposed to surprise me with something that I'm supposed to be like, wow, how'd you,
Maybe
how
I
did
surprised you. You know what made you tear up? I surprised you. I sent you toilet paper when you had nothing. You
oh
know, during
yeah,
quarantine, I sent you toilet paper, baby. I
that
shipped you toilet paper.
that's love. That's love.
That's what I'm saying. I made
I
you
would
tear up.
never have to question you. I still have gloves today.
Ladies
For my
and gentlemen, Christopher Iman, make sure you a round of applause, baby. We're done, Christopher. We're out. Make sure you say
it was
bye to
a pleasure.
say bye to your people. And then on Monday we got Stars of the Century. This man just put
9:30
9:30.
sharp.
There you go. Don't be late.
Thank you guys for tuning in. He's about to run that cash app one more time, and we're out.
Thank you all. Thank you for watching. This man, you see, this is why I just don't trust him. And Antoine, he warned me. He warned me. He said, "You sure you want to do that?" But this is it. These are the friends that I have. But thank God for them, and I thank you for tuning in tonight. I want to make sure that you get an invitation for tomorrow at 8 p.m. with Stasha Sanchez. I promise that it'll be a little more toned down, even though Stasha can be catty too. But we will test things out and make sure that she's on time for all of you. I want to make sure that also you remember that next week I have Maya Douglas, Tiffany T. Hunter, and Tatiana Braxton. Make sure they please share the video. When you share the video, share the love. And I'm out of breath with Christopher Iman. Thank you for tuning in for a different kind of talk, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.